Well, hello everybody. So the subject today is we take a job and we delegate it to the specialists in the departments, and they hopefully get back with the responses in at least half the time required, so that we have plenty of time to collate the answers, to be able to redact anything, approve it, and send it out to the applicant. The way that works is typically through, as I'm sure you're aware, through activities. So we're going to be looking at how we create these subtasks. Now, I know some people just send a bunch of emails out and don't use subtasks. And so you'll have to map this onto your own workflow. But the basic idea here is, what do we do if a response is required where somebody sent in 17 questions, which has to go to 5 departments? So first of all, what sort of request would we have to do that with? If it's a single request, it's pretty simple. It's one activity. You send it to transport, they get back with their answer. If it's multiple requests where somebody wants to know how many lampposts, or they want CCTV from various places, they want to know the cost of the CCTV and how much their stay in hospital was and whatever, then it might need to go to finance, HR, and all sorts of places. So regardless of the type of request, you can get quite complex ones and quite easy ones. You may need to extend the time, and on your systems between us, as we're going to cover in the admin section later, we will have created 30, 60, 90-day type response deadlines for more complex requests. But the basic idea is that both the volume of FOI and SAR type information requests has gone up over the years, and the complexity has gone up as well. So often people do come in with several questions in one request. So you'd hand it out to the people who know the answers, that's obvious, and then they need to, sometimes you send out, some of you send out like a Word document for them to fill in, but which can be mail most through the system, but most people now are using the Information Request Managers portal, so that could go out if you've got 90 or 100 and so reps in different departments who answer these things. They can each have a portal, and the nice thing about that portal is it can be applicant blind, it can prevent them seeing private requests, and I'm going to be demonstrating that by looking at Angelina Jolie, who is, and again, this will come up in the admin course, but you can see that she can review reports, you can see her emails and emails to do with the requests, but she's applicant blind, and also she can't see private requests. That's not ticked in here. So we'll be able to see the behavior of her portal, which I've left over here somewhere, and we'll be able to see various different requests and see that, for example, if she looks at this one, she is logged out. Great, I will sort that out in a moment. With luck, I'll still have that, or has somebody, nope, I'll have to log her back in a moment. But basically, if we were to go and look at her requests, you would see that she can't see the applicant because she's applicant blind. We'll get back to that in a moment. So turning to our, there's a bunch of definitions on the requesttracker.co.uk website. The ones we're really looking for now are, there's a synonym here, there's sort of subtasks or their activities which you would hand out to departments, and we're going to be looking at how we do those in a moment. They go to what we call IRM. Some people call them department reps, but it's basically the experts or the specialists in those fields, or the people who have the knowledge to be able to help you. So the idea is, if it's a simple question, then it's a simple question, regardless of whether it's a SAR or an FOI. But if it's a complex one, you might have to take the 12 questions in this example and hand it out to 4 departments. Once it comes back, there's different ideas of how to do this. If it's a simple question, some of you I know will hand the question to the department and expect the department to respond. If it's a more complex question, you might ask them to send it back to you to collate, or you might ask each department to respond on their own behalf, hence complying with the need to respond within 20 days, but pushing that responsibility out on the departments. On the other hand, this particular model is the more complex one that you can do, and also the most efficient, so that in this model you hand it out to the departments, they get back to you hopefully within about 10 days if it's an FOI, hopefully the same if it's a SAR, and then you've got 10 days of breather space and error space, and they've gone on holiday space to be able to collate it, approve it, redact it, and so on. So this is an example where you've got multiple questions. And it doesn't matter whether it's a SAR, in which case that whole area kind of slots into here, or if it's an FOI request, in which case it goes into this sort of collection box and suggested rejections box just here. So let's have a look at how all that works. You would choose your request and then you click on this tab here, the activities tab. And I think the best idea is if I go and find that activities tab and demonstrate it live. I think we have an information request here. So what I'll do is I'll click on that and you can see I've got 3 activities here. Just to show you how I create those, if I create one for the person I'm logged in, which is administrator, and let's say administrator works in corporate resources, and let's say they have to pull some of this data, it would be a gathering information type. Now, as we'll learn when we do the super user and systems admin functions later on in these seminars, you can create as many of these as you want. I was a little short of them in the demo system, and so what I've done is I've added a couple of them in here, but you could have 6 or 7 different types of activities if you wish. You'd probably also add some further information. So that's what that person's got to do. If we now save that, you can see a 4th activity goes down there. Those activities then have to flag up for somebody. So there's Angelina's activities, and you can see this one activity here, please get CCTV from the King's Road, comes up here with this job. Now she can't see all of the IRs. Sorry, when I say job, it's shorthand for information request. Angelina Jolie cannot see, if you remember from her employee admin, this screen here where you tick what people are allowed to see. She cannot see on her request manager portal any information requests where she doesn't have an activity that she has to do. She further can't see private information requests. This is a SAR, and when she clicks on here, she won't be able to see it. She can't see it at the moment because she's not logged in, a matter which I will deal with in a moment. But also, if I was to go to the admin screen, which I have hanging around here somewhere, yeah, if I go to the admin screen, when I log in as an administrator, and I'm just going to actually refresh this because I've added a few more bits, then I can see that job, which is this thing, this animal, and I can see absolutely everything, so that's fine. Obviously, as an administrator, I can get into it all, but it comes up both on my request dashboard, but also if I want to see, not only if I'm a controller of these things, but I also want to see my activity dashboard. I can see the activities that I have been given by, it happens that I'm the person controlling this. Actually, no, it doesn't have an owner, it doesn't have a department. Sorry, yes, it does. I think I'm the owner. There we go. Yes, I'm the owner and I'm the person that took it. So basically, I see that on my information request dashboard, but I also see on my activity dashboard that I'm actually responsible for a bunch of work on this. And that work is these 3 things here, which have been given to the administrator. So there is a clear responsibility hand down, a clear delegation, clear responsibility. When I've done a piece of this work, so let's say it's gather information and respond. So this job here that I've been given, what I can do is I can set the status of that to completed. Now, many of our commercial companies have a client portal so they can see, so their customers can see the progress of a job. And they typically want to say, you know, this translation is 3% completed, 28 it's in progress, it's been given to the translator, it's something else, and so on. You can have as many of those statuses as you wish for each activity to be able to measure progress. So you might, for example, demand that any information request manager, any department rep, at least says, yes, I've got it, and changes the status from received and in progress. Obviously you'd set it to them, you'd send it to them and you'd put it as not set, and you'd expect once they get cracking to say, look, I'm on it. And then when they've done it, they'd say completed, so you can go and pick the stuff up. You can, of course, attach files onto activities, or you may decide in your training for your department reps that they attach it onto the job, which puts everything in a nice job bag and complies with the requirement that you can tick it to make it public so that it shows on your public disclosure log. None of the notes that they add on here go through to the public disclosure log. We assume that the notes that go through to the public disclosure logs will be the ones that you put on here and which you actually tick as public. So, so there are my activities. I can get directly into the activities if I wish by clicking on here and get straight into them. But Angelina over here, I've got logged in on this one, you see her jobs. If we added more, then when she clicks on here, clearly instead of bringing up this login screen here to say, hey, and okay, you logged out, buddy, it would bring her up with the correct, it would bring up the correct job. In this particular instance, 10805, though, it won't, because this is a SAR, this 10805. So she's not got the rights to see any private jobs. So there's a double barrier for her to be able to see those things. If somebody by mistake sends a SAR activity to somebody, they won't be able to answer it anyway. They won't be able to see it. But if she was to click on this one, it would come up applicant blind. Now, I think I have in the PowerPoint presentation some examples of that. So here's somebody who's been set up, and obviously they go in via the IRM portal to the single database, and you've got some examples here of the requests that have come up for this person. Dunwell Borough Council was the old demo system, if you remember, and you can see as it comes up, you can see, here's an example of one, you can see that they can see the emails or not, depending on whether you tick this box here, this access to my emails or access to information request emails. So it may be that you just don't give them that tick box at all. Assuming that you have the email, I think virtually everybody has the email archive system now. Just remains really to say thank you very much for listening. Hope you've enjoyed it. Do please, if you've got any ideas for improvement, do please put them on the feedback form. And I look forward to seeing you again next Wednesday. Thanks very much indeed.